Hey everyone, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello and welcome. Today we are doing something a little bit different. Whenever I have talked about games and that me and Dave love board games and video games and we like D&D and that type of thing, you guys seem to be interested in learning more. So I thought it'd be fun to have a video just showing you some of the games that we've been playing recently. Some of these are easy to find. There's like a couple honorable mentions that I don't think are in production anymore, but I still want to bring them up in case you end up stumbling across them in like a thrift store or in a store nearby. So I'm just going to share with you our favorites, and I would love to know your favorites. So let us know down in the comments. We always love finding a new board game. It's just a nice, easy date night in. This video is also in correlation to a blog post I'm doing for Puzzle Warehouse. It's not sponsored by them, but I do like to have like a video that's kind of in the same theming. So I had a blog post that I think should come out while you're watching this that's about date night, game night. This is something that me and Dave do every once in a while where we make it super special. We have some maybe fun food, maybe a basket of snacks or maybe a frozen pizza, and we just stay at home, have a game night, maybe play a few games, and that is our date. You know, Valentine's Day is around the corner. Dave's birthday is actually Valentine's Day, so very seldom do we actually go out and celebrate on his birthday. So doing something at home is super fun, and it's a way for us to save a little bit of money and just have a good time in. Now this is something that I normally don't review on my channel, so this may not be like the same style of review that a normal gaming channel does. I don't really watch any game channels, but I'm sure they're out there. So we're just gonna go over these games, no particular order, so let's just start from this one. So this one is called Cartographers. This is one that was recommended to me once upon a time when I had mentioned that we like games on my channel. One of you recommended this one. I love it. Dave loves it too, but I win most often, so he's usually a little hesitant when we go to play. But it's a really simple game. It doesn't take long to figure out, and I feel like that's the case for most of these games. But pretty much you have these little papers that's like your world, and you have to build your landscape based off of like the criteria and the cards that come about. So you have to earn coins, you have to build towns, you have to build woods, and there's different criteria and ways to gain extra points. So I really like it. There's an easier version where you don't have the hazards. On this side you do have the hazards. There's a lot of strategy, a little bit of sabotage involved as well. So I really enjoyed this one. I think we got it on Amazon, and it's been a good one. It's a great like compact travel friendly one. We brought this one when we were camping, played it a ton, super fun, and recommend it a lot. We have the game Pandemic. This one might hit some of you the wrong way, especially since 2020 happened. We got this one actually February 2020 before COVID shutdown happened. We played it pretty much a week beforehand, not knowing what the state of the world would be in 1 week. And when we were playing it, we were always just like, imagine if something like this happened, like what would we do? And then a week later, we were in lockdown. So it was a very interesting turn of events, and I feel like we haven't really played it too much since, but we did like playing it before. So I'm still bringing it up. They have a ton of different expansions and variations of this one. This is the original one. You pretty much have a world map, a pandemic breaks out, you have to find the cure. There's a whole bunch of stuff you got to do for it. There's a lot of steps involved, so I feel like it took us a couple tries to make sure we were doing it correctly. And I will say it would probably be better with more people, but it is doable with 2 people. So I like it. I'm wondering, have you done any of the other variations? 'Cause I'm curious about them, but we also haven't really played it too much since COVID happened. So just wanted to bring that one up because it is a fun game. Moving on to a series of games that we have really been enjoying. The one that we love the best, of course, is discontinued or out of print at the moment, but I'm hoping it comes back in the tin version because all the games came out originally in the cardboard and now they have the tins. So we're just gonna cross our fingers to make sure that they come back. So the Forbidden series by Game Right is super fun. They have a bunch of different ones. Forbidden Island was the first one, then they have Forbidden Desert, we have Forbidden Sky, and then they just came out with Forbidden Jungle. I really am curious about that one. So as far as I know, Forbidden Desert and Forbidden Island are very close and similar. So pretty much you are stranded in an area, an island or a desert, and you have to find the pieces to build your transportation item to escape. And so there's a lot of different like hazards and things that happen, like there's a storm that's coming around you. So what is really interesting is that every single game is different because you have the tiles that are laid out differently every single time, and you and your team member are, it's a collaborative game. So if one of you dies, the whole team dies. So you have to work together and come up with a strategy to make sure that you can escape whatever you need to escape. You can definitely make it trickier if you wanted to, and that's because you and your partner both have a turn. Each turn has 4 steps. It's kind of complicated at the beginning, but you do get the hang of it. So once you two go, or your team goes, then the storm goes. So it's like the game's turn, and it can go very wrong or you could be lucky. And so we've had times where we were just crossing our fingers that we made it through. We've never lost this one. I definitely think this one's easier than the other one that I'll be mentioning, but it is a cool concept, and I'm interested to know the newest one, the Forbidden Jungle, because I think that would be really fun. The other one that if you can find it, get this one instead, because this one is Forbidden Sky. We played these ones back to back the other night because we were like, we haven't played this one in a while. I feel like we liked it more, and that is the case. So this one is very interesting because there's an electronic element to it, like an actual like electricity item to it, which maybe we're really into because Dave works with electricity. But this one, similar concept, but instead of being in a forbidden desert or an island, you're on this like platform above the world. And so the hazards that happen is like, first you have the windstorm that's happening, and then you have lightning. So you could get injured either way, and your rope can get shorter, and you can get struck by lightning and lose a life. You can, I feel like this one, you build the stage as you're going. So sometimes me and Dave have gone on completely opposite ends and needed one of us to like help us to survive. This one is so much more intense. I feel like it's easier to die, and it's very stressful, but it's really fun. And the little electric element, it just makes it extra fun because the ending is just like really rewarding. So if you can find Forbidden Sky, highly recommend. Definitely our favorite, and I'm just hoping it's just coming to the tin version. You know, that's like fingers crossed, but it might be possible you only can get it at like a thrift store or in a secondhand option. Moving on to this one. This one is easily getting up there to one of our new favorites. This is by Ravensburger. This is the first time doing one of their games, and we have really been enjoying it. This one is called Carpe Diem. This one was gifted to us by Puzzle Warehouse for the blog post that I was talking about. I think this game is super fun. Dave loves it as well. Whenever we play like 2 or 3 times at once. It's quick once you get the hang of it. So usually a regular game takes us about 20 to 30 minutes at this point. The first game that we did took us over an hour, so it just was a little bit of a learning curve. There's a lot of stuff to read. There's a lot of different elements, and you're like, wait, what was this? What did this do? Once you remember what they do and actually looking at the card that tells you what they do, it makes it a lot easier. And it's one of those games where you are trying to get the most points at the end, or your victory points. It's a ton of different ways to do it. You are building your little town, and you're gathering resources, and there's a lot to it. I really like it. It's hard to explain, but pretty much you have this little center thing, and you have to pick your tiles to build your world, and depending on what you pick, you get certain resources or money or buildings, and at the end, you really don't know until you're tallying up the rest of your points who wins, because there's some things that are secret, and then there's some things that are obvious, like, wow, you have a lot of this, you might be the winner, but then someone might be doing something on the side that you don't know about, and then they end up winning. It's another cool game that just changes every single time, because the tiles will be completely different, your board game will be completely different, the cards will be completely different, so you can end up with very different strategies, and it's just a really fun time. So we've been really liking it. I think it is cheaper on Amazon, so we have really been enjoying it. There's a lot in here, like getting it ready for the first time. There's a lot of pieces, so we like it a lot, and I think you can play up to 4 players if I can remember correctly. Moving on to another new one. I did purchase this one, but from Puzzle Warehouse. This one is called Hughes and Use. I think it's relatively new. This one is really fun. It's bright and colorful. Technically, it's a party game where you're supposed to have 3 to 10 players, but it is doable as a collaborative game if you do 2 players. players. So that's how we play. So you have this giant board game. I think it has like 360 squares of different shades of colors, and you have to figure out how to describe those colors in 1 to 2 words, and that person guess which one you're looking for. It can be quite tricky, and I feel like sometimes the cues are harder than the guessing, because you're like, how do I describe this weird shade of yellow? And then they put it down and you're like, no, you're like 3 points away. So you're like trying to get them closer to the color that you're describing without giving too many clues, and you only have 2 words to do. So it can be quite challenging. Dave has a hard time finding out the clues. It takes us a little bit, but so far the highest score that we've gotten is 35. 50 is the highest it can go, but the first time around that we played, we got like 10 points together. So it can definitely be challenging. We have gotten better over time to like figure out ways to describe things, and I like it a lot, and I think it would be fun as like a group thing. So this one I do really like, and I'll also link that one down below. Moving on to this set of games. So they have a whole bunch of different versions. We have numbers 1 and 2. I think they go up to 5 or 6 at this point. So this is the Red Dragon Inn. So we have the first one and we have the second one. The concept is identical. The only thing is that if you were playing with a group, you can combine the 2 games together and you can just have more players, which is really cool if we had a ton of friends to come over and play a giant game. But with just the 2 of us, it's still really fun. You can definitely make it a drinking game if that is your style. It is based as if you were in an inn. Each of you has a character. You can play in character if that's your thing. Sometimes we'll have like different voices and we'll read our cards like in a certain way. But there's a way to get drunk in the game, and then there's a way to lose fortitude. If you were playing with a group, there's definitely a lot more chances for sabotage and getting the other person drunk sooner. And I'm saying drunk as in the game, but you can definitely do it in real person if you wanted to. Not condoning that, but just saying. Me and Dave really liked it, but we are fans of D&D and role-playing type games, so I feel like for us we really like it. But I played once with my mom and she really wasn't a fan, so just giving you a little update on these 2. Again, identical, you just have different characters, and we've been liking it. I don't think we need to buy more than 2 because we don't really need to switch up the characters all that often. I think 1 is enough if you're just a 2-person household. So next up we have is Chronology. We also have the regular version as well, and I feel like you get more bang for your buck with the regular one. But I wanted to mention the Disney one because we are at Disney while you're watching this, so it just made sense. But we have really been liking it to get ready for the trip. I do wish that they had a little bit more than just the movies and TV shows and such. It does go very current. It goes up to 2023, so it's a brand new game, and so some things are really easy to figure out and some things aren't. The whole point is for you to get your events in the correct order, and you're basing that on like a guessing situation. We like it, but we do kind of wish it had more elements of Disney inside of it. So it's only 150 cards. We have already seen that's getting a little bit repetitive, so we're starting to remember a little bit more. I think they could have easily added things about the parks inside, because that would have just gave you more options, and I feel like a little bit harder than just like knowing which order they sent the movies out. So that's my thoughts on this one. We do like it, and I think if you're a Disney fan, you'll enjoy it, but I also really appreciate the regular Chronology because that one has so many more. I think it has like 530 events or something like that, so there's a lot more to do. There's a lot more historical aspect of it, and I feel like it's a lot harder. So that's my thought on that one. I do like it. I do wish it was just a little bit more. And then finally, this one isn't a 2-person game, but it is super fun. And if you have like a group of people, it is hilarious. And as a 2-player game, it's not really much of a game, but it is a fun time to have. So we have Ransom Note. This guy is kind of expensive, but we've laughed our butts off multiple times with this game. So what it is, it's like those little words magnets that you like put on your fridge. It's that type of thing. So there's a ton of them in this box. I don't know if I can, no, it's like in this box. Each of you have this little magnetic board, and you get these little prompts, and somehow with your words you have to figure out what makes sense for those prompts. It can be a bit raunchy and a lot more adult. Like, I would not play this around children, but if you have like a fun couples date night. It is so much fun. We brought this one on a cruise with my parents, and I almost thought they were gonna kick us out of the bar because we were laughing so much. It is hilarious. You get some very interesting things. Again, it can be quite dirty, but it's a good one. And even if you are just two people, it's just fun to like do, to get like the prompt and then you both will do some type of thing. There is no judge. It's just kind of like a fun little thing at home. So those are our games of choice at the moment. We have a whole closet with other ones. So if you want to see another version of this, let us know. Or if you have other game recommendations, we are always up to trying something new, so leave those down in the comments. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave the blog post if it's available down below in case you want a quick read. It's a lot about the same stuff, but a little bit more about like the date night aspect. So that is it for me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.